2 days ago, West Ham started briefing people that Lucas Paqueta's trial was now over. The decision, the verdict, had been decided, but Lucas Paqueta and West Ham were going to have to wait between 4 and 8 weeks to get that decision. Not only the sentencing, if there is any, if he's found guilty, but the verdict as well. When I heard it, I didn't massively believe it. I covered it very, very briefly in one of the first 60-second news roundup. But I didn't honestly believe it. I just thought, you know what, I think the club are understandably a little bit grumpy about it. But I thought there's just no way that the FA will have come to a decision and they're going to make everybody wait. Because this thing has gone on for 2 years now. However, since then, there's been a load of other stuff that's come out from lots and lots of different sources, which makes you think, this is not just the club saying this. Let me read you the title of a Guardian article today. Lucas Paqueta spot-fixing trial ends, but West Ham unhappy over wait for verdict. Now, all the big newspapers are running with this. They won't say stuff like that if it's not true or true because they don't want to be litigated against. Let me read you the first sentence of this. Lucas Paqueta's spot-fixing trial has concluded, but the West Ham midfielder has been told he must wait for 4 to 8 weeks for the verdict. The Brazil international faces a possible life ban after being charged by the Football Association with 4 counts of being deliberately booked to influence betting markets. The rest you know. So it's true. Either everybody is lying, lots of different people, lots of different sources, be it the club and outside sources, or it's just they're not lying. So many people, there's just not that big a conspiracy. They have concluded it. Now, we spoke to somebody else who sort of has links to the player yesterday, which is why I covered it in the 60-second roundup. And they said they expected it to be concluded by June, and they were hopeful that he would be acquitted. So that in itself is good, but we don't know. The truth of the matter is we don't know. We're still guessing, and they don't know, because the FA have given no indication either to the club or the player himself. And I just think the whole thing is completely shoddy. I mean, first of all, the fact that the FA seem to be judge, jury and executioner, I think that's all a little bit wrong. The FA appointed the 3-man panel to decide whether Paqueta is guilty or not. I mean, that's not impartiality. I mean, then you would not, by the very definition of something being impartial, that's not it. You can't basically, well, you can because they've done it, but you shouldn't really be able to charge somebody and then say, we're going to give you a fair hearing, and by the way, I'm going to pick the people that are going to decide. That is, that's pretty poor stuff, in my opinion anyway. But I just want to look at it from both sides in terms of whether he's guilty or whether he's not guilty. And I just think whichever way you look at it, the FA's decision not to reveal the verdict for another month or 2 months, it just reflects really, really badly either way, whether Lucas Paqueta did it or didn't do it, or whatever their conclusion might be. Before that, just point in the direction, please, of Hammers Chat Store, hammerschatstore.com. It's closing down. We've got a sale. Go and check it out. The link is in the description below. Loads and loads of bargains over there for you, so go and have a look at that now. Right. If he's innocent, let's go with this. So they haven't got this sufficient evidence. It dragged on for so long. The fact that it dragged on for so long meant they were struggling. The fact that they asked to have Paqueta's phone back. They had his phone. They looked at it. They couldn't find anything, and then they asked for it back some months later. I think that indicates that probably the strength of the case wasn't as strong as the FA might have wanted it to be. So if he is innocent, why make him wait? I do believe the FA have got a duty of care. Well, it's not even me believing it. The FA have a duty of care for everybody that plays football in this country. Be it a 6-year-old on the five-a-side pitch over the park over there, to international footballers who play in the UK. They are the governing body. They are the English FA. They're the English governing body, the Football Association. They do have a duty of care. You don't even need to really scratch far below the surface to work out that Paqueta's really, really struggling with this mentally. Now, that doesn't actually matter whether he's guilty or innocent. They still have a duty of care. So whatever's going on here, they're protracting this. They're drawing it out. But I think if he is innocent, this is really, really bad. Because if he's innocent, then that means they know he's innocent, but they're going to make him wait. That's pretty nasty stuff, right? I don't think that's great. But if he's guilty, let's go with that one, because I think it's only fair to look at both sides. Then let him know. You can. It is quite normal to give a verdict on something and then you can reveal the sentencing later on. It's almost like they want to hit him with a double whammy if that's the case. We're going to make you wait for the verdict, which has already been decided. This is the point. It's already been decided. Everybody is saying it. The FA know what they're going to do. Unless they don't, of course, but that's just not what's being said here. He's facing a lifetime ban. And crikey, I mean, they've taken a lifetime to try and decide whether he's guilty or not, haven't they? West Ham are due... Look, if he's innocent, West Ham are due significant compensation, probably only dwarfed by the compensation that Lucas Paqueta will be owed. Some suggest they were sort of strong-armed into this. As I understand it, was Betway who flagged up the suspicious betting patterns. As more has unravelled, it is... As I've mentioned on numerous occasions, when it first came out, I thought it was part of some betting syndicate or some sort of betting cartel, and it was heavily entrenched in sort of organised crime. Turns out that they were a series of what we call small bets. I think the biggest one was less than £100. Most of them were under £50. The smallest one was £7. That these were, by and large, as most people have said, a load of bets that were under 30 quid, mostly. They're clearly struggling to get evidence on all this, and I just think with that, they've really struggled. Now, it gets compared to the Ivan Toney situation, which is totally different. There was 300 counts, all of which he admitted guilt to. It was a bit of a slam dunk for the FA in terms of them charging him, prosecuting him, sentencing him. This has been anything but. They've had to do their investigations themselves. This is the thing. So much of this is cloak and dagger. This is not a public inquiry. Don't think we're going to get to the end of this and the FA are going to reveal the evidence they do or do not have. It's a bit of a kangaroo court, if I'm honest here. And they haven't even got to adhere to the usual legal requirements of beyond reasonable doubt. And beyond reasonable doubt would be if you have a jury, a sort of jury trial, then the jury are instructed by the judge to say, is it beyond reasonable doubt that this person is guilty? They're not doing this. These are hand-picked committee members who haven't got to deal with reasonable doubt. It's the likelihood of probability, as I understand it. Well, that's really weak by comparison. And every time it feels like it's getting to the end, it just gets extended and it gets dragged on. This was never meant to drag on this much. West Ham can't get on with our transfer business. If Paqueta is innocent, there will be a number of clubs who want him. I don't know how much we'll get for him. We won't get the 80 million that we were going to get from Manchester City. But I think it's fair to say we would probably get between 30 and 50 million pounds for this player. I could be totally wrong. That's just my guess. But whatever, even if you disagree with that and you think it's 60 million or even you think it's 25 million, it's a significant amount of money. We can't get on. Because he's not going to stay, he's going to go. But also the player can't get on with his career. They are very much keeping him in a state of limbo. And you will hear much pontificating from the FA about mental health and duty of care and stuff like that. And I think they're showing precious little here. I don't believe they need right now, if they have decided, and that's what everybody's saying, if the FA have decided and concluded, and that's what we'll just go back to what it said. Lucas Paqueta spot fixing trial ends. We don't know a pot fixing trial. That's something very, very different. It says here, it's been concluded. Lucas Paqueta's spot-fixing trial has been concluded. If that's the case, there is no reason for them to drag this out. None whatsoever. And the fact that they're doing so, I just think reflects horrendously on the FA.